Control. My life didn't please me, so I created a new life. Coco Chanel. Control is something you do directly or indirectly that results in or causes a reaction or behavior to occur in someone or something else. Self-control is the power to direct or choose your own thoughts and behavior. For example, once you reach the age of 18, you are legally, physically, and morally in control of your life. As an adult, it is your responsibility to recognize the difference between two fundamental conditions in your environment. Things that are beyond your control and things that are within your control. You cannot decide or determine what others do, but you can control your own actions and the choices you make in response to others. Once you are able to identify what is not in your control, you can stop wasting time and energy and choose instead to focus on things that you can control and in making appropriate decisions that guide you towards your objective. Bill Belichick, coach of the New England Patriots, has a sign posted in the team locker room, quote, "Eliminate the noise," close quote. That's it. That's all the sign says. His players know exactly what those three words mean. It's not an admonition to keep the locker room quiet. The sign is there to remind the team to pay attention to the media and what they say in an interview. The sign is there to remind them that bad talk gives bad results. For example, if a player from the Patriots says something negative about another team, they have given the other team fuel for the next game because all those articles with bad talk in them are put up in the opposing team's locker room for a game and used as motivation against the Patriots. So now Belichick makes sure that players get the message from day one to stay humble during interviews. It is their actions, their performance on the field, that does most of the talking instead. And judging from his record of wins, it's tough to argue with his method. Now, what would happen if you learned to eliminate the noise from your day-to-day activities? What would change for the better? Try this challenge for a week, just 5 days, by setting aside the mental junk at least until the weekend. This means turning off the TV and not reading the newspaper for 5 days. Walk away from the office gossip. How much positive energy would you gain by turning out the noise in these things like somebody died, there's a robbery, an earthquake somewhere? You get the point. I'm not advocating that you lose your compassion for others or your interest in the world affairs, just a change in mindset while you work on your goals and improve your life. If you want to help others or give back to your community, great. Donate your time to a nonprofit group or become actively involved in a cause you believe in. You'll be a better person for it. Just be aware of the information that is feeding into your head every day and keep the noise down. If you read the introduction, you are reminded that habits can be good, bad, or anything in between. Some of you will frequently get into the habit of things that are either a waste of time or a waste of energy. Sometimes you will get into the habit that doesn't help in any way at all, but simply because it's easier for the moment to be lazy. I call this kind of lazy or unproductive habit a creative avoidance activity. We may think it's easier to get out of doing something by coming up with an excuse or just ignoring it altogether rather than do something more productive. This sort of thinking needs to be challenged because it is based on the false assumption that more effort is required to perform a positive action than a negative one. I firmly believe it is much easier in the long run to do something positive. Consider television, for example. To be sure, there are some great programs on TV, lots of entertaining, educational, fun stuff. There's also an excess of mindless garbage. With cable providers now offering more than 1,000 channels, just the act of flipping through each channel one by one can be a habit all by itself. Just think, you can unlock the potential in your DVR by channel surfing to your heart's desire while simultaneously recording every single episode of Oprah's Super Soul Sunday. Yee-haw! Dial it down, people. Be more selective in your choices, even everyday things like watching TV. Making these little changes will add up to a big difference, a difference that adds meaning and fulfillment to your life. Instead of passive television watching, why not spend some time engaged in learning a whole new skill set that will benefit you more? Techniques like visualization and positive thinking have long been used by professional athletes to improve their performance and build successful habits, but you don't need to be an athlete to use these techniques to your own advantage. 9 essential mental skills. You know the value and effectiveness in creative visualization and positive self-talk. These are great skills on their own, and when combined with consistent practice of the actions necessary to achieve your goals, well, your success potential increases accordingly. There's more. The Ohio Center for Sports Psychology has found that athletes are able to increase their performance levels significantly when they master a set of 9 mental skills. These athletes had such dramatic results that I believe these skills are too good not to share. Even better, the 9 skills that follow can be learned by anyone with a little bit of practice. Number 1, goals. Set realistic goals that are high enough to be challenging. Use a variety to keep your level of interest high by setting both long-term and short-term goals that are realistic and measurable. Know your current performance levels so you can develop specific, detailed plans for improvement. Stay committed to your goals and to the daily process of working towards them. 2. Imagery. Use creative visualization or positive imagery to train your brain. Prepare for success by imagining yourself being successful. Create and use mental images that are detailed, specific, and realistic. Use imagery to recover from mistakes and failures. 3. Self-talk. Eliminate negative self-talk and the external noise. Maintain your self-confidence through challenging times with positive self-talk. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to your own best friend. Practice using positive self-talk to regulate your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. 4. Attitude. Take control of your attitude and choose to be positive. Attitude is a choice. You can choose to be negative or positive, but the only attitude that facilitates success is positive. Pursue excellence, not perfection. Respecting yourself and the process along the way. Respect these things in others. 5. Motivation. Keep your motivation level high. Be clear about your motivation and the rewards you expect to achieve. Be patient. There are times when the reward does not come quickly, and sometimes the reward is earned from your participation rather than the outcome. 6. Failure. Learn how failure can move you forward. Accept it. Failure is part of the process and can even be the very thing that moves us forward. Know that some degree of fear can help you perform well and devise an effective strategy to reduce fear when it becomes too strong. 7. Focus. Stay focused and fearless. Know what you have to pay attention to in a given situation. Learn methods that will keep you focused and that help you resist both internal and external distractions. Know how to restore your focus when you lose concentration. 8. Communication. Use open communication to build effective, meaningful relationships. People are social beings, which means you are part of a larger system that includes your family, friends, and others. When appropriate, communicate your thoughts, feelings, and needs to these people and be an attentive listener for them as well. Learn the skills for dealing effectively and fairly with conflict, difficult opponents, and other people when they are negative or oppositional. 9. Confidence. Strengthen your confidence and belief in yourself. Accept strong emotions such as excitement, anger, and disappointment as part of life. Practice using these emotions to improve rather than interfere with a high level of performance. Using mental skills to improve performance. The 9 essential mental skills are useful in a variety of performance-based situations. Performance-based situations are defined by the following characteristics. They are often scheduled in advance with a set beginning and end. The rules and the participants are known, but not necessarily the outcome. You can, however, affect the outcome, and with preparation before the event, the effect should be a positive one. An example of a performance-based situation is a job interview. Here are several more examples: taking a driver's test at the DMV, testifying before a judge, giving a sales presentation, participating in a webinar, attending a class reunion, being on a committee, and hosting a playdate. Each of these situations and many more like them represent opportunities to apply your skills for a positive outcome. Every day is a new opportunity to do something that makes a difference in your life to make a positive change. The actions you take today hold the potential to make tomorrow better than yesterday. Remember, it's okay to look at your past, just make it quick. To focus on the past is to risk getting stuck in what seems the easier path of giving in to mistakes or making excuses rather than making progress. But you don't understand. Have you any idea what I had to go through? I don't buy it, and you shouldn't either. Think about this. We seem to regret the things we could have done but didn't, much more than we regret anything we tried but failed to achieve. Consider Thomas Edison. As the story goes, he made more than 2,000 attempts to invent the electric light bulb with a filament that would last. When he was asked about these failed attempts, Edison replied that they were not failed attempts. He had produced, instead, more than 2,000 documented ways how not to make a light bulb. He was so determined to solve the problem of the short-lived filament that he was willing to continue working on a solution even after thousands of unsuccessful attempts. Each failure helped to bring him closer to his goal than he was before, until he finally accomplished what he had set out to do. Success comes in any imaginable shape or size. It can take a lifetime of trial and error, or if it just so happens to be a day when all is as it should be, and if we're very, very lucky, victory will be ours on the very first try. Sometimes one win can provide inspiration for many others to follow, as it did with Roger Bannister, the athlete who set his sights on breaking the 4-minute mile barrier. It was once thought to be physically impossible for a man to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. That's until Bannister broke that barrier in 1954. Wikipedia, 2014. Then something miraculous happened. That same year, other athletes broke the 4-minute record, and more soon followed. Today, Bannister's record has become the performance standard for all male runners. Success: if you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're still right. Why would you choose not to be on your own side? After all, isn't that the winner's side? I'd like to see each one of you believe in yourself and your ability to be successful. The unfortunate reality is that some people don't yet have the confidence or belief in themselves and may be thinking about giving up before they even get started. Don't do it. At the very least, wait until you have given yourself every opportunity to shine. You know that success often involves a series of mistakes that critical breakthrough is made or a milestone is achieved. Sometimes it can take years to happen. Remember all those years it took for Jim Carrey? For many people, the difference between giving up and persisting through the toughest times can be a few words of advice from someone who has done it before and being wise enough to listen. The best career advice ever given to Scott Adams, creator of the syndicated cartoon Dilbert, were the words, "Don't give up." For investor Mark Cuban, that advice came from his dad, who taught him there are no shortcuts. For Lululemon founder Chip Wilson, it was the realization that people actually enjoy helping others. Be open to the advice given by your mentors and those who have accomplished what you strive to achieve.